Hi, Paul.
Hi, guys.
Hey, hello, and welcome to Separated by Water, the podcast for our with a focus, to be fair, on Spurs and Nottingham Forest. My name's Colin Campbell. I'm the season ticket holder for Spurs for my sins. My co-host is Paul. I'm back to Paul in a second, and our guest Charlie on today, who you may recognise from before, who's a very devoted Nottingham Forest fan. This morning, with one subject and one subject only. Paul, what's happened?
Yep. Well, look, I'll give you an official announcement. There was an announcement made in the early hours of this morning. Nottingham Forest Football Club confirms, following recent circumstances, Nuno Espírito Santo has today been relieved of his duties as head coach. The club said in a statement. The following statement is what they issued. The club thanks Nuno for his contribution during a very successful era at the City Ground, in particular his role in the 24-25 season, which will forever be remembered fondly in the history of the club as someone who played a pivotal role in our success last season. He will always hold a special place in our journey. Lovely statement. Colin, Charlie, I'll come to you in a wee minute. I just need to get this off my chest. I'm angry. I am so angry. This club, it just drains you. Sometimes I wish I supported Millwall or Bolton or something. Every time we take two steps forward, we go back another four, and we've had a good transfer window. We signed loads of good players. I'm angry with Nuno. He sits down and makes a statement. You do not make statements like that about an owner like Marinakis, who's thrown millions into this club. It was only ever going to end one way, and that was with Nuno leaving. He was given an olive branch uh, after his initial statement, and then he comes out and he announces his European team, and he leaves out two of the top signings. One of them being the main money man signing of the window, and leaves him out of it altogether. So he was he instrumental in his own demise? Yes, I think he was. Did he want to go? I don't know what he wanted, but he certainly didn't want to stay. Um, Now it's announced now that we've got Postecoglou. What the hell? Like, what the hell? Like, look what he done to use last year. He injured every one of your players, left you with a skeleton squad. He's won a cup against a team that, to be honest, Andy could have beat that team in the final, to be honest. Man United were not at their best last year, and he's finished 15th in the league or 17th in the league, Man United, alongside
17th.
Man United. Shocking. Charlie, what's your view? I know you always have a much more level and pragmatic view to these things compared to myself. Give us your view. What do you think?
Well, I'll still be on the ferry next Wednesday going to Swansea for the cup game. It doesn't matter to me who the manager or the players. Manager, as I said in several postings I put on this morning and last night, managers come and go, players come and go, but the club is the constant. I suppose, like, if I was to be pessimistic now, I'd say, oh my God, we're now going to lose Gibb White, we're going to lose Anderson, we're going to lose Murillo, we're going to lose Milinkovic. But you know what? I've enjoyed every minute of watching them, and if they go, so be it. Great players have come and gone before, and great players will come and go again in the future, and managers. Me, it makes absolutely no difference to my life this morning, other than I'm going to have to get a new chant for Postecoglou, and whereas we had guys wearing white sheets over their heads when, what was his name, Fawaz came in, it was funny to see him at the time, and then with Nuno, the drinking beer to his name. Will we now have people wearing hats with corks dangling like didgeridoo people playing didgeridoos at the game? I'm looking forward to all that. It's an exciting new phase. Listen, please don't get upset. As I said, another thing, petrol still has to go in the car, or electric. Bins have to go out. People have to go. I've had comments from people here this morning saying that I can't face work today because Nuno is gone. Lads, Nuno's going to get millions. Onwards and look. I mean, I could have been a Spurs fan for the last 20 years. Can you imagine how that feels?
Yeah.
Well, how does it feel, Colin?
Well, that's for later, but I do know what you mean. I mean, shock. Uh, talking about the Levy announcement and his running of the club over the last while. But it takes me to a point I would like to ask you both, maybe starting with Paul. Paul, you kind of led into this by your view of what Nuno has since the end of last season. Is it a case whereby nowadays interpersonal relationships are more important than the performance on the pitch? I.e., is the relationship between the owner and the manager the issue here? Obviously, I think it is, rather than the performance on the pitch. And could not the owner have looked at it more objectively and said, this guy may have said the wrong thing here, but geez, look where we are and the possibilities are.
I look at it like this. If I'm employed by somebody, I don't go into a public forum and rip them apart and say that my relationship with them is shocking. It would appear that the catalyst to all this here is Edu, the guy that came from Arsenal. He's come in. Apparently, he's buying players, and fair play to Nuno, he'd no say in who he bought. But also, he was turning up at the training ground. And yeah, there are mediums where you deal with these problems, and a public press conference is not one of them. And Nuno must have known. He must have known that if he goes on and talks about Marinakis, his relationship with Marinakis, that it's not going to end well, because we know he's not one to be trusted with. He's a strong individual. He's successful in business. He's been described as many things, and one thing he's never been described as is weak. I think you described him, Colin, and some of our content or text messages, that he's a bit unhinged at times. I don't think he's acted unhinged this time. I think he's behaved in a manner which is nothing short of what would be accepted of him. He had to root him out. He couldn't let it stay. He's invested multi millions in this team, and I accept what Charlie says there. Charlie, on a more immediate note, I wanted the club to do well this year. I didn't want anything to upset where we were, we've got a chance in Europe for the first time in 30 years.
The momentum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like they've thrown a grenade into the middle of that. Now we have to gather ourselves for Sunday against Arsenal, and
I know.
I just don't know.
But Paul,
I just don't know.
Could I just say, I take your point. Sorry to interrupt you. You take your point, but could not the owner have? You said the olive branch, okay, but I was wondering, could he have been big enough to say, right, that maybe Edu coming in? I mean, it's like the term. Sometimes management levels have vague titles, general manager or something or other, and nobody's quite knows what it is.
Head coach.
And they often start to interfere into other people's remit. Now, I think Nuno probably thought that he had achieved enough in the 2 seasons, or 1 point, whatever it was, he's been there, keeping them up and then bringing them right up. He maybe thought he had maybe more in the bank, as they say. To say in a veiled way, or maybe direct way, however you interpret it. I don't like what's happened here, because Edu's standing on my toes, and I don't like that. I mean, could not the owner have maybe done a bit more, or been a little bit less? I take your point. You shouldn't insult your boss, but surely people should be. It could come across here as thin-skinned. That's what I'm trying to say. Could he not have done a bit more to keep Nuno there?
Charlie, what do you think?
What do you think?
I'll let you answer that.
Or maybe Charlie, you don't care.
No, it's not that I don't care. It's not that I don't care, but I mean, what we have to remember, I was going to say lads, but hopefully there are ladies listening as well. What we have to remember, folks, is that at the end of the day, Nottingham Forest PLC is a business. Okay, so it's a business. So we've got a maybe billionaire owner who's pumping millions in there. Now, whether he's doing it from a business point of view, or it's his little plaything, whatever happens, he wants to get as much out of it. Apart from the fact that he probably wants to win the Champions League, he wants to get as much reward financially back out of it from what he's putting in, be it a plaything or a shrewd businessman. And look, Nuno, look, Nuno was fantastic for us for a couple of years, and look, he won't be forgotten. But the next, look, you talk about momentum. Look, what about the new manager bounce next Saturday morning at 12:30 when we rack up at the Emirates and beat Arsenal? That's what I'm looking at. That's
Aye.
I take positives out of absolutely everything in life. So it's
Okay.
look. Should they have said it? Should they have done it? It makes no difference to me. It makes no difference to
Yeah.
me. I think I'm sorry to be. Maybe that might seem like a negative or I don't care thing. I care about the
No.
club. I only care about
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest.
Okay. Okay. So then, fair enough. Nuno's gone. Accept that.
Well, can I just come
And
in there,
Marnax
Colin?
is
Can I
running.
just come in there?
Yeah.
Can I just come in there specifically in the way that I think Nuno ran things? Nuno ran things with an arm round the shoulder.
Yeah.
You seen Aina whenever they qualified for the semi-final or they beat Liverpool. I can't remember which game it was. And Nuno ran along the pitch and jumped onto Ole Aina's back and went up the pitch. And you could see the bond there between the players and the manager. Is that bond going to be there between Postecoglou and the players? No, it's not. He's cold. He said
Well,
he's said in the past he is not their friends. He doesn't want to be their
well,
friend. He wants to be their manager, and he wants to do this. And I totally take. And Charlie, I wish I could be like you. I wish I could say doesn't affect my life. And I read it in our group chat, the podcast or the group chat that we have. Somebody said I can't think of going to work this morning. That's a wee bit too much traumatic for me. But I will say to you, I woke up this morning. The last thing I read last night before I went to bed was rumours in Portugal that Nuno is about to be sacked by thing. I texted you, Colin, and I put my phone away and I went to sleep. I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and I looked at it and I went, "Yep, as expected, they're going to sack him." And sure enough, this morning they sacked him. I just worry about, Colin, you mentioned the word there, momentum. And I hope that we can pick up the momentum on Saturday. I hope we can get the new manager bounce. But I'll tell you what, Postecoglou has been handed an opportunity here. He has got a group of players that only any manager could dream of because Marinakis, Edu have signed a group of players who are world class. And we've got almost 3 players for every position.
Yeah.
And I think, but my worry is, Colin,
Okay.
and I'm going to ask you to answer this question.
Yeah.
Does Postecoglou have a plan B? Does he have another system other than this high press that he plays?
Well, I'll answer that. But first, Charlie, when I said you don't care, I didn't mean to be dismissive. I think you have a very good handle on things. Whereas Paul and I, probably by virtue of this, both lead emotionally first. And anyone who's heard me, if anyone's heard me give an objective head before heart appraisal of Enoch, I would love to have been there to hear me because I've very rarely done it. Does Postecoglou have a plan B? Well, not in the league. I was at a number of matches, so I feel I have over the 190 or 100 minutes or whatever these games last now. And I saw the plan A work extremely well in season 1. If you want to overanalyze it a little bit more, United hit the first home game. Sheffield United were leading 1-0 into about the 5th minute of injury time and collapsed. And all a couple of good games, a Fulham game, and then it all fell apart against Chelsea. I've gone through this before. Then coming into this season, it looked like there was no plan B whatsoever, and we're being sorted out and worked out. Infamously, the Brighton manager, who was a youngster, I think during half-time, when Spurs were winning 2-0, I think changed at half-time, Spurs lost. Then, belatedly, at the later stages of the UEFA Cup, went more defensive. And I liked that. I loved it against United and so on. Is that a plan B? No, I don't think it is in the context of a 90-minute league game or a 34-game league season. And I would love to know what the owner has seen in Postecoglou to see him as a better manager or a better person to take forward the business, and obviously is. So, I worry about that. I really don't know. I was never really a Postecoglou fan. Nothing against the guy. I'm really not. I wouldn't be nasty about any of these people. They're doing their best. But for a team of Tottenham standing, and I imagine people will say, for a team of Nottingham Forest standing in England, I think that there will be a struggle ahead. I don't think there's sufficient plan B material in his head, unless he's done an interview with the owner to assure him that he's rethought it all and has a different approach. But there was nothing in his interviews when we lost 1-0 at Bournemouth, lost at home to Ipswich, to tell me that he was changing his plan. I mean, some of those defeats last year were, by our standards, appalling. Home defeats to Leicester, to Ipswich, who I think were the only matches they'd won away from home. Away defeats at teams we should have, we should be expected to play better against. So I would be concerned in the way you mean it.
Yeah. As you know, I was lying up in hospital last week, and I knew it was coming, and I kept on reading everything I had. I was flicking through stuff and reading it, and I thought, when this happens, it'll happen. But I really hoped that it would be Palace, Glasner that would come to us, or maybe the ex-Fulham manager, or Fulham manager as he is at the minute. Charlie, I'll ask you a question. Is this an upgrade or a downgrade of manager?
Is it upgrade or downgrade? Well, do you know what? It's almost a trial by internet. I'm giving Postecoglou a chance. Let's see what he does. Let's see. I mean, is it an upgrade or downgrade? Well, Nuno, Cooper took us as far as he could, and then the next stage. Nuno has taken us on that next step. Let's give Postecoglou. Look. We you and me, Paul. We've spoken about this this Europa League thing. That wouldn't it be great to go and win it? What's going to stop us from winning it now? Anyway, we'd like to be top 10 in the league this year. There's nothing now says we're not going to be top 10. I can't answer is it an upgrade or a downgrade purely because I haven't given Ange a chance. I just I'm being very honest here. It's
Sure.
I just want to go to wherever the weekend and shout for my team and see them. What I don't like is seeing bad performances. Now West Ham was a bit. Well, I believe we actually did a West Ham because we wanted to see what it felt like to be a Man United fan. But being genuinely serious, I don't like being a Man United fan. So we'll move on from that.
No.
But is it an upgrade or a downgrade? I think. Look, Ange has been successful twice where he's been, Celtic and Spurs. You'd say Celtic isn't as big as Forest, and people say Spurs are bigger than Forest. So let's see. Maybe Ange is coming sideways, and let's see. Let's review it at Christmas. Let's review it at Christmas. My honest opinion is, look, thank you, Nuno. Sad to see you go. Well, not sad. I'm disappointed that he's gone, but. Look, we've had disappointment. We've had disappointment in League One. For goodness' sake, like we're sixth in the league. Sunderland are underneath us. Newcastle are down just above the line by 1 goal difference. So is it an upgrade or downgrade? It's a sideways move. It's
Wow.
neither a downgrade nor an upgrade. Not an upgrade, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's a good answer.
There
It's a
was
fair
someone
answer.
on the
I
radio
didn't
this
mean to put you
morning.
in the spot there, but Huh?
No, I heard one this morning that said that
Good call.
Ange always wins the trophy in the second season, and that might be the championship next year. That's very unkind.
Yeah.
Well, can I just?
Well, I
Can
don't
I?
think
Can
that
I
will
just?
happen. But anyway,
Could I just interrupt there because and this
Go
is
ahead,
just
Charlie.
we're talking about funny statements, and now John Lennon is one of my all-time legends, one of my all-time heroes. I Lennon on his own as opposed to the Beatles, but somebody put a wisecrack, a bit like that joke you just said there, Colin. Somebody's put a wisecrack that when he got shot, his last words were "Oh no, Yoko, oh no, Yoko, oh no." And do you know, for the life of me, last night going to bed, I couldn't get it out of my head. I was saying, "Oh no, Nuno, no, Uno, oh no," and I'm thinking, Jesus, where am I going to in this world? That was. I know it's probably in bad taste, and John Lennon will always be like, the record Imagine was fantastic for me, but. That was my thoughts going to bed last night, and I just smiled and went to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. And we have the new song anyway. It's Postecoglou, Shrimp in the Barbie hates the Derby, Forest or Magic. So there we are. It's out
I like
already.
that one.
Um,
I like that one.
yeah. It's on our group chat, Charlie. So we have a couple
I'll
of
get
comments.
that.
If you're listening, jump on the comments there. Matt Price, who works
There is
with
Gibbs
me in
White
the
to
England
Villa in
office, Gibbs
January.
White to
No,
Villa. He's a Villa supporter. Gibbs White to Villa in January. What do you think, guys?
Gibbs is going anywhere. He'd be going to Spurs or City in January.
Charlie? Gibbs
Well,
White to
I
Villa in
don't.
January?
No, not a hope. Not a hope. Not a hope. No. He won't go to Villa. No, I mean, I don't think that. Look, the Villa manager. You may not believe this, but the Villa manager's in trouble. You know, his squad is
Yeah,
aging.
I
He's
think so.
got. You know, if he's depending on the guy with the dreadlocks in the back, number 6. I can't even think of his name. And you know, the striker is old. They sold a couple of deals. He's under. You know, I
yeah,
think
I
we
agree.
finish above Villa. I think we finish above Villa,
Yeah.
and certainly after the comments my friend John Connolly made this morning, being a Newcastle fan, who if I asked him to pin a pin on where Newcastle is, he'd probably hit Sunderland as the biggest North Luton. But anyway, I think no, I don't think he'll go to
You give
Villa.
him a medal for that.
Well, he's got to understand his place in the football hierarchy. Sunderland are way above them at the moment,
Yeah.
the league, and I'm very happy. But talking about ourselves, no, I don't think. I don't think. Crikey, if Gibbs White went to Villa, that would be a backward step for me. Seriously, you know, in comparison to going to Spurs, much as I hate to admit
I
it.
agree.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Mr. Price, as you know, well, I know, is a Villa supporter. We also have an Arsenal supporter ploughing into the thing. Gibbs White
Okay.
will be off to Spurs soon. Well, he won't be going to Arsenal, that's for sure, Matt. He will not be going to Arsenal. And then
Oh
they
no,
went in
sorry,
again. Anderson.
Colin, if I could just interrupt there with the Arsenal fan, yeah, Gibbs White is going to Arsenal. He's going to score after about 12 minutes on Saturday, about 12:38. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care how many he scores on Saturday. Yeah.
Brilliant. Matt Wells. What do you think the score is going to be?
Yeah.
I'd just like to respond to the guys in the comments. They take the time to come in the comments. Just give us an answer. What do you think the score will be on Saturday, Matt? Colin, Postecoglou, tell me where it went all wrong at Spurs for him. Was it his press conferences? Was it the way he played football? Where did it all go wrong? Because he won you a trophy. Why did he not, at the heel of the hunt, hold on to his position after winning your first European trophy?
I think timing's it was a combination of, to separate it and try to keep it as simple as I can, a combination of two things. The way he insisted on performing against Chelsea that ill-fated night when we lost 2 players and lost the injury and we had Romero sent off. We were doing well and then give it all away. And he insisted on the high line to gift Chelsea 2 goals. We were in the line with actually an equaliser scored by Eric Dyer, which was chalked off, needless to say. But then we played Wolves 3 days later and gave 2 goals away in the last, an injury time, 2 defeats. And the atmosphere changed a bit. And we're sort of like, well, why didn't we close out, the Wolves game out? And he became, when he was asked about this whole Plan B thing or about changing it or a wee bit more fun, he did become tetchy. And the sort of happy Aussie, yeah, it's what we do, mate, yeah, and all that. So he started to become a little bit snattery. And the fans who are watching over the 90 minutes, as I say, not the highlights on TV, they're watching the whole game, sort of think, we're the wrong way, and we're inviting teams on and we're wide open. And that's where it all, and then it just spiraled from there, The changes he made against Eintracht and against Bodo Glimt to a certain extent, and certainly against United in the final, were a more defensive, cautious approach. But we also had our best defence on against United in the final and in one of the semis. So I think it went wrong in that Chelsea match and that period of 4 days. And we didn't do enough to recover that. And then the defeats started to come. And the 10-match sequence at the start lost its value. Then we come into the next season, and it appeared like nothing really had changed or been learned.
Yeah, fair
The
enough.
injuries, he would say,
Fair enough.
that the injuries were terrible, but it must have been
Yeah, but
contributing to them. The high line.
do you think
Uh,
these
requiring
injuries
people to
are
sprint.
down? Do you think these injuries are down to the way he runs the
I can't
system?
say they're completely down, but they have to be contributory. Hamstrings and things going. Well, the night that ill-fated Chelsea match we watched, while it was a 5-minute delay for a VAR decision, two decisions in one. One was at a foul that Romero had committed, so he was red carded, and then they gave the penalty. That took a full 5 minutes because I was sitting in my seat watching the clock, and I said to my buddy who's there, "There's going to be injuries here." And about 5 minutes after the ball, next minute, we pulled up. Now, what's that got to do with Ange? I think playing that high line in the way Spurs were playing it in the Premier League is contributory to that kind of injury. Yeah. So I think that the managers can contribute. And if they don't contribute, they need to find out what the heck is going on. These are your assets. They can't be sitting. So in other words, I'm saying injuries are excuse, but only up to a point. Whoever is needs to intervene and say, what is happening here? Look at all the performance data. Why are we doing this? And I think it doesn't take a genius to work out when you're watching games, the style of play and the sprinting and the fast pace will pull on people eventually. Yeah. So are Forest looking forward to an injury crisis? Quite possibly.
Yeah, I know that worries me. Charlie, I know you're a fishing man, Charlie. You've got a couple on the line here. Matt Price wants to offer you a tenner bet that will end up above or below Villa in the season. I don't know if you're a gambling man.
Oh, crikey.
And,
is that euro or sterling? Please make it sterling.
That's Sterling. No, he's in Burton upon Trent, right beside.
All right.
Oh, I know where Burton is. I've been to Burton. I've been to their ground several times. I know where Burton is. It's beside the brewery. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Well, I can do referee for this bet. If that bet's on, I'm referee for the bet.
You can be the witness. He thinks Villa will finish above Forest.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair enough. The bet is on.
That's
on. The second bite is 3-0 for the Arsenal game. He's got tickets, so we'll get a programme as a memento for your defeat. Maybe he's still sleeping, I'm not sure, but anyway, we'll wait and see.
He thinks
can we come into Skulls on Saturday? He thinks 3-0.
No, it won't be nil.
Yeah, it won't be nil.
It won't be nil. I think Arsenal will score.
Yeah.
You're right.
But
okay, guys, anything you want to finish off? Well, we've got to, there's news breaking all the time, and I think that
I would just like to I would just quickly come in there. We were talking about injuries and Ange, just briefly, like everybody or thousands of people were telling me after the season that our injuries caught up with us because we had such a small squad last year. And also the way Taiwo got injured these are all things that happen before Postecoglou comes in. So I think injuries are just unlucky as far as who is the manager. It's the players themselves. I always look at the players themselves. Have they prepared? Has the coach, has the the physical, have they done it right? Not the manager. And I know what you're saying, but I would seriously think that injuries happen no matter who the manager is.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Yeah, injuries happen, but we had a spate of them. And I think Paul's question was, are you in for a very full treatment room? And I worry that you would be. Yeah. Anything from you, Paul?
And that. Yeah, well, that history was there at Celtic as well. They had that history. He had a reputation of his players being injured quite a bit at Chelsea or Celtic as well. Yeah, I'm going to say, Nuno, thank you very much. You gave us a great run. I think he's up there with one of the best managers, or of the best managers we've ever had, along with Steve Cooper, along with King Bill, and Brian Clough as well. He gave us great times. I hope he moves on to something better. And I welcome Postecoglou. Am I happy? I have to say I'm not. I don't see him. And to be honest, any manager coming in with the players that we've signed over the window would need to do something good with them, because we've got we've done so well. And we'll maybe mention it in the podcast. If we don't do it this afternoon, Colin, because I have to go up to the hospital for an appointment now. But if we don't do it in the afternoon, we'll do it tomorrow afternoon. But Nottingham Forest now have the 14th most expensive squad in the world. So I know money's not everything, but that's a long way from where we were a few years ago, Charlie. You know, that's a long way. Yeah. Absolutely. So hopefully he'll be able to do something with it. I wish him all the best. I'll accept him. I don't like his interviews, mate, and all that stuff. But anyway, onwards and upwards. I hope we will do okay.
Very good.
I would be thinking that your tenor safer than Matt's, Charlie. To be honest, will we beat Arsenal? Will we beat Arsenal the weekend? I'm not sure we will. New manager bounce, we might get that, but we'll wait and see. But any final words, Charlie, before we go?
No. Thanks ever so much for inviting me on. It's a pleasure as always, and we'll speak to you all soon.
Okay. I have one final statement. I have a funny feeling Nuno to Leeds.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's just, but I hope Fark stays. But I think Leeds might be a wee bit trigger happy. So that's for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm just going to deal with one final comment that came in from Matt, who's on about our PSR and UFFFP, bragging that you have a history. Yeah, we do, but we sold 17 players and we bought 13, and very, very well. So I think we'll be okay in that front, Matt. Thanks for listening to us, guys. We will catch you soon. Charlie, thanks for joining us. Colin, we'll chat.
No problem.
And thanks. Stay safe, everybody. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Charlie. One final word.
And we have history. And we have history of winning European Cups, Matt. Take care. Bye.
All right. On that note.
We'll finish on that note. And I applaud you, sir. I tip my cap to you. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later on. See you later. Bye.